Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome tonight's presiding officer, the chair of the Convention Planning Committee, and a member of the NAACP National Board of Directors, Mr. Michael Turner.
Fired up! Fired up! Ready to go! Ready to go! Hello, NAACP. It's good to see people from the Carolinas to California, from the Midwest to the Deep South, from big cities and good old small towns, gathered together under one roof. I have a message for you. It's simple, only 2 words. Are you ready? I know some of you are drained by the heat of the sun and the length of the day, but I'm going to need a little more from you than that. So are you ready? This is my 2-word message. Wake up, open your eyes and see what's happening in the world. Read between the lines of the news and the stories and see what's really going on in this country. And the 2 words are all in. Say it one more time. All in. We are in a fight, not a physical fight, hopefully not a violent fight, but it's a very real fight, a wrestling match over nothing less than the soul of Americans. Over the course of the next few months, we the people will decide, do you really believe in democracy or not? Do you want freedom and justice for all or just a few? Will we remain the shining example of freedom and equality, the light on the hill, or will we descend into darkness? It's that simple, and it's that serious. America will answer once again, who are we? This is not a new fight. It's as old as America herself. There's always a struggle within America between who we are and who we want to be. We seem to have 2 dual natures. The America that wants to move forward to a new day, and the America that wants to drag us back to the old way. But there's something I want you to remember every day between now and November 5th. Remember this, every time it looks like America is going to turn back the clock, we show up. Black people make the difference. We tip the scale in favor of the better America. We have always been the conscience of this country, a constant living reminder of its shameful past and its hopeful future. America is at a crossroads, ladies and gentlemen. This is a dangerous time. It's a serious time for serious people. Just look at the news yesterday and look at the news tomorrow. We are teetering on a thin edge, and the whole country could tip it away. The whole world is watching. Democracy will live or die on November the 5th. It's time for us to show up. It's time for us to do what we have done time and again, to keep this country moving forward, to make America better, to bring out the best in America, to challenge her to live up to her promises. We must show up with our vote, our voices, our praying hands, our moving feet. This time, it's going to take everything we got. Everyone in this room, and everyone in our household, and everyone in our community has got to show up. Hear me now. We have to go all in. That is our thing. We'll be talking all week about going all in by applause. Let me know if you're ready to go all in. When you put this convention on, it takes a big change. I don't even get to see everyone involved. However, I want to give special acknowledgement to my convention planning committee and the leadership co-chair, the one and only spin guy, Dr. Kate Lewis. Gian Greenwich, Salois Steele, and DeMar Roberts. I also want to recognize the national staff led by no other than Eric Sims, our chief of staff. Takia Jefferson, Chandra, they left your name up, but I believe it's Clemens. And Jocelyn Bynum, the new addition to our team, as well as the entire events planning team and national staff. I'm very fortunate to be joined this evening by my wife and our two oldest grandchildren, giving my family history, beginning another generation of NAACP freedom fighters. Would they please stand to be recognized? I would like to acknowledge Chairman Emeritus Rosalind Parker and her mothers, and my close confidant and brother of 40 years, the Honorable Judge Greg Mathis. Over 45 years ago, I embarked on a voter registration drive across the country that was put on by the NAACP. Sponsored led by Joe Madison, who at the time was over the National Voter Club for the NAACP. Joe had come to the national office after being the executive secretary of the Detroit branch NAACP, my home. That's right. This march changed my life forever and clearly gave me a purpose and cause of commitment to the NAACP. Joe went on to become the first national board member to be elected at the convention. And I was proud to be his campaign manager for every election he had at the convention. I was even prouder to be elected to this national convention, this national board by the convention, and the seat I still hold to this day. Joe Madison left us earlier this year to be with our ancestors, but his voice and presence will forever be remembered in this great organization. We also lost another stalwart, the one and only Dr. Marcella Maxwell, a member of the foundation board. And so I ask that please give us a moment of silence for the Black Eagle and Dr. Marcella Maxwell. Roll back, roll back. Roll back, roll back. Right there, right there. I gotta talk to the production people. Let's do what we have to do for the Black Eagle, for Dr. Marcella Maxwell. Let's do it for our children and their children. Do it for whatever reason stirs your heart. But by God, let us vow to go all in. Are you with me? Next up is one of our fearless leaders. She keeps it real. And she tells it like it is. And she's about to tell it like it is. And she's about to give you the word for the day. It is my pleasure to welcome one of the baddest women in the game, Vice Chair of NAACP National Board of Directors, handworking town from the great state of New York, New York. And while she comes to the mic, I hereby convene the 150th National Convention of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Hello, welcome, and Viva Las Vegas. This is an exciting place, which is the perfect setting for our convention because this is an exciting time. For me, it's like a double family reunion. My husband is sitting right over there. Daryl, raise your hand. Here he is. And we're about to celebrate 29 years of marriage. We are all in. Now let's hear it for Black love. He's sitting with his parents. We call them Nana and Pop. Pop, a Douglastown, served 30 years in Congress and is about to celebrate his 90th birthday in a week. Let's hear it for Black longevity. So that's my marital family, but I'm also looking forward to spending time with my NAACP family. We have so many challenges, yet we have so many opportunities. We have so much work to do, but so many hands to do it, which is why I say this is an exciting time and an exciting place. But I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, why are we here? Just think about it. Why are we here? Of all the places in the world, why are we gathered here in Las Vegas, Nevada? To me, this location is a symbol of where we are as an organization, as a people, as a country. Take this year's theme, All In. That phrase is about pushing all your chips to the center of the table. It's about making a total commitment. It's about keeping your eyes on the prize. All over the city right now, people are putting everything on the line. They are going all in. Now, I'm not just talking about the people in the casinos. Don't forget, this is home of the Las Vegas Aces of the WNBA. They are all in as an organization in pursuit of their third straight championship. Simply because of where we are as a country right now, everybody's talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. But they need to be talking about the MVP, Asia Wilson, and the world champion. Coincidentally, their motto this year happens to also be the same as ours, all in. Now, earlier this year, the city of Las Vegas had to go all in. Just days before the Super Bowl was held here, Las Vegas suffered from record rainfall and terrible flooding. They had to somehow put the city back together in time to welcome the world. And they did it by going all in. Likewise, the association is all in on issues we are working on here in Nevada. Climate justice, resilient futures, voter empowerment, economic empowerment, student debt relief, all of these issues that are captivating the country are affecting people right now. That's why all eyes are on Nevada. This state was pivotal in the last election cycle. Remember, we all watched hour after hour as our democracy was put to the test. The state seemed to be split right down the middle.
It came down to the wire. Every single vote was carefully counted, and in the end, the will of the people prevailed. As it turns out, the work the association did in this state truly mattered. The election easily could have gone in another direction, and we'd all be living in a different country right now. So here we are in a battleground state. Another election in food. All the issues America is facing are on the table right now. And once again, we're asking ourselves, what are we going to do? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going all in. We're all in for women's rights, all in for healthcare rights, all in for gun safety, for religious freedom, and for labor rights. Now, I know a little something about labor rights. My godmother was president of Local 1199. My father was one of their organizers, and my mother was a proud member of 1199 for over 50 years. I learned firsthand that labor unions don't just look out for workers, they look out for families and for communities. They help us hold our society together. They help the country weather storms, survive fires, and recover from floods. People need help putting food on the table, they are there. Treating serious illnesses, they are there. Rebuilding their lives after tragedies, they are there. We need unions. We need to stand together. We need to share common causes. And these values are the pillars of unions, and not coincidentally, they are the pillars of these United States of America are supposed to be. Because in the end, our nation is a union. We stand together, we fight together, and at our best, we go all in together for what matters most. Now in 2024, above all else, we're going all in for democracy. The prevailing power of the will of the people, that is why we're here. To make a commitment, a total commitment to everything our country, our people, and our association believe in. The beliefs so many have sacrificed so much to uphold. We're here in Las Vegas to make a total commitment to the values and ideals that our ancestors entrusted to us to preserve for our children and our grandchildren. Our theme is not just a slogan, it's a rallying cry. Have you said it yet? Have you voiced your commitment? It's a powerful feeling. Let's do it together right now. Say the words with me. All in.
All in.
All in.
All in.
All in.
All in.
That's right. We are all in. Thank you for your commitment. Let's get going and let's go all in. Thank you so very much. Let's have a phenomenal day.
Please welcome the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs Deputy Secretary, Tanya Brasher.
Good evening, everyone. How are we doing?
Awesome. I want to acknowledge Derek Johnson, National President and CEO of NAACP, Leon Russell, Chairman of the NAACP National Board of Directors, and to all the board members in attendance. Dwayne Proctor, Chair, Foundation Board of Trustees, and DuBois, Chair, Armed Services and Veterans Affairs Committee. All NAACP members, especially my fellow veterans. Could all of our veterans please stand and be recognized? Thank you so much for your service and your continued leadership. We do have a Veterans Village that is here. We are so excited. We are going to be able to process claims. We are going to be able to do medical exams. And if you have any questions about VA resources, please come find us. We are so excited to be here. It is a very special privilege. The NAACP is an iconic organization. You've done so much for our country over 11 decades of service to Black Americans, to all Americans, with unwavering support of every major civil rights struggle this nation has had. And we at VA are proud to work with you in our shared fight to ensure that the courage and sacrifices of veterans are recognized, honored, and never forgotten. That's why the Memorandum of Agreement between VA and the NAACP is so important. It reflects our shared commitment to building a better world and a brighter future, especially for veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors. That means all veterans, no matter who they are or what they look like. So my personal thanks to the NAACP for being our partners in this important fight. Now I have a request because we need your help. Many of you know that 2 years ago, President Biden signed the PACT Act into law. And in the past 2 years, VA has completed almost 1.5 million PACT Act claims, greatly expanding benefits for service members. For service members who deployed to the Gulf War, on post 9/11 deployments, and Vietnam veterans. We're now providing more care and more benefits to more veterans than ever before. But we need to do more. If you have a veteran in your family, if you have a friend who's a veteran, please ask them if they've applied for their VA benefits. If not, please encourage them to do so. We want them to have access to everything they so richly deserve. To veterans in the audience, please apply for your benefits. That means if you've never submitted your claim, submit it soon. Go upstairs and get you started. If you've tried VA Click here and didn't like us, please try us again. If you think the PACT Act applies to you, please submit a supplemental claim. We are working hard to ensure that all veterans feel welcomed at VA. If we weren't always succeeding, please let us know so we can fix it. To veterans who are using VA care and benefits, please encourage other veterans you know to do the same, because we know veterans trust veterans. So please help us spread the word to veterans to know about VA benefits and the care available to them. God bless you all, and may God bless our veterans, our service members, and our country. Hope you have a wonderful conference.
And now, from the state of Nevada's 3rd Congressional District, please welcome Representative Susie Lee. Representing Nevada's 4th District, please welcome Congressman Stephen Horsford.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm so very proud to welcome all of you here to Las Vegas. I'm Congressman Stephen Horsford, and I'm proud to represent the 4th Congressional District. And I want to recognize some of the amazing leaders of the NAACP, including the President and CEO, my dear friend Derek Johnson, Leon W. Russell, the Board Chair, Darren Boykin Towns, the Vice Chair, all of your National Board, Foundation Board, delegates, and members. And of course, our local NAACP President and members for the Las Vegas branch, Quentin Sapua. Now, I attended my first NAACP convention 34 years ago as a high school student and a participant in ACSA.
Yes. Yes.
It was from that experience that I was trained to become a student leader and an advocate for my community. 34 years later, it's my honor to welcome you to the 115th National Convention to my hometown here in Las Vegas. Now, I'm the first African American to be elected to Congress from Nevada. And I'm honored to serve as the chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus. And on behalf of the 60 members of the CBC, we now have the largest number in our history. We started with 13, one Black woman, Shirley Chisholm. And now we're at 60 with 31 Black women. Trust Black women. Collectively, the 60 members represent 120 million Americans. That's 1/3 of the US population, including 20 million Black Americans. When we fight for Black America, we fight for everybody, and we're proud to be the conscience of the Congress. Now, in 1909, when the NAACP was first established, the city of Las Vegas was just 4 years old. And Clark County, the jurisdiction that you're in right now, was just being created. The founding of Las Vegas came with the same remnants of segregation and Jim Crow that was known in other parts of the nation. In fact, we were known as the Mississippi of the West, a city that prohibited Black people who performed on the Las Vegas Strip from being able to stay there or to be patrons. Through ingenuity, Black entrepreneurs created its own entertainment district in the historic West Side, which I hope many of you will get to visit while you're here. These legendary venues like the Harlem Club, Brown Derby, the Cotton Club, the Chickadee, the Moulin Rouge were home to performers like Cab Calloway, Chubby Checker, and Nat King Cole, and of course Sammy Davis Jr., Louis Armstrong, Harry Belafonte, and so many others. From segregation and Jim Crow to integration, we have faced some of the many challenges that other places in our country have faced. Today, we are working to ensure that Las Vegas' success with our resorts and casinos, our sports teams, international events like the Super Bowl and the F1 race, and conventions like this one and many others results in opportunities and investments for all of our communities, including the historic West Side, the Black neighborhood here in Las Vegas. Now, it's because of the ties and alliances between the civil rights movement and labor that we've been able to make the progress that we have. In this regard, I want to acknowledge all of the banquet servers, the cooks and the bartenders here at Mandalay Bay and MGM Resort for their phenomenal work. Because it's the hospitality workers who are the backbone of this industry and the reason that we are known as the entertainment and now the sports capital of the world. It's also because of labor that we've been able to advance and protect the American dream of civil rights, voting rights, and economic opportunities. Rights that some forces are trying to roll back. Now we know that the power of the black dollar is an important part of our political capital as citizens of this nation. We need to not only be the consumers that drive economic spending, we need to be the creators of wealth and the owners of economic success as well. We are the innovators of culture, of music, of fashion, of technology, and we need to have a stake in wealth creation also. That's why, as chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, I'm proud that we will be ready on day one with the Black economic wealth and economic agenda for the start of the 119th Congress. With Democrats in the majority and Hakeem Jeffries as the first Black Speaker of the House of Representatives. And yet, a second Biden-Harris term with increased representation in the U.S. Senate, with 2 Black women senators, Angela also Brooks from Maryland and Lisa Blunt broadcaster from Delaware. The CBC has been laser focused on advancing policies around work, wages, and wealth by creating economic and wealth building opportunities for all Americans, but especially those who have been left out of opportunities for generations. On issues like this and many others like housing and diversity, equity, and inclusion, we've worked in collaboration with the NAACP and our colleagues in the Congressional Hispanic and Asian and Pacific Islander caucuses, because we understand that when they come after DE&I, they are actually coming after you and I. Since the Supreme Court overturned affirmative action, we have been fighting to defend diversity, equity, and inclusion in corporate America, on college campuses, and in government agencies. The Minority Business Development Agency, the Small Business Administration, and the Fearless Fund, a venture capital firm that aims to help Black women entrepreneurs have what? Access to capital to invest in themselves and their businesses. Sadly, Senator J.D. Vance recently introduced the Dismantle DE&I Act. It would eliminate all federal DE&I programs and end DE&I related funding for agencies, contractors, organizations, and educational accreditation agencies that receive federal funding. They're also going after multicultural student centers that are being closed on some campuses, and DE&I programs are being shuttered at some companies. So it's important that our community stand together in these fights, because we are all in this together. As I said, the CBC is the conscience of the Congress, and we're taking on these battles in communities in Congress and on the House floor. Their latest plan, Project 2025, if you haven't read it, Google it. It is an even greater risk to our community. They're talking about rolling back civil rights protections, dismantling affordable health care, Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. They want to roll back student debt relief that was enacted by the Biden-Harris administration. That is why our voices matter in this election as it does in every single election. Our freedoms, our rights, and our opportunities are at stake. But together, not only will we protect our progress, but we'll continue to create pathways to create economic opportunities and wealth building for our people. Now, it is not lost on you, and it shouldn't be lost on you either, that this very conference is launching while the eyes of the world are on the RNC convention. By contrast, you're here in Las Vegas, one of our nation's most diverse communities. And we will have the opportunity to talk about so many issues important to America, including advancing civil rights, promoting voting rights, and creating economic opportunity. We know that these issues are important not only to Black America, but they're important to all of America. So it makes me proud that I can showcase my city, the people in it, and how we can continue to advance the rights and opportunities of civil rights, of justice, and equality for everyone. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your conference. I look forward to seeing you around all of Las Vegas Now, don't just stay on the strip. And take this bit of wisdom. Even if you lose a little money on the card tables or the slot machines, don't worry. 50% of those dollars go to fund our public schools here in Nevada. So don't count it as a loss. Think of it as an investment in Nevada's children, because the house always wins, man. Thank you all. Have a great conference.
And now, the president of the NAACP Las Vegas branch, Quentin Savoy.
How y'all doing, community? How y'all doing, family? Welcome to Las Vegas. I'm so happy to see y'all. You have no idea, it's been a year in the making, and we have been planning really intently at Branch 1111 for about 4 months now, and I'm so glad to have you all here. Listen, you are in the entertainment capital of the world, a city of justice and power building. I am your Las Vegas president, your host, and I am really delighted to be here today. We convene in this all-important election year as torchbearers of hope, enriching a legacy that has burned right through the darkest of times. Our presence here is a testament to the resilience of our people and the enduring power of our movement, because we know these problems don't ever go away, but here we are, keep showing up to fight for justice and solutions for our community. We meet at a critical time in our nation's history. Some might say these are turbulent times, but I'm actually quite inspired by these times. You know why? Because we have a moment to make history just like our foremothers and our forefathers made history. Okay? I think about Medgar Evers. I think about elevating. They didn't know what was on the other side of those injustices that they were fighting, but we revere them highly today. And now today is our moment to be revered in 30, 40, 50 years because they fought and protected our democracy. I'm also inspired because they did way more without the help of Wi-Fi and ChatGPT. So if we got all these resources, I know we can save democracy, y'all. They also left us a blueprint on how to fight racist extremism that is so commonplace in our political climate today. I'm inspired by the words of folks like Fannie Lou Hamer, but also the bold and audacious actions of our local icons like Dr. Ruby Duncan and Mary Wilson, Rosie Beals, the women who shut down the Las Vegas Strip 52 years ago in the name of protecting welfare rights and working mothers. The sacrifices and courage of Ida B. Wells also inspire me. She faced death threats because she shined light on the truth. And that is something we all have to do today. None of them backed down. None of them wavered. They all stood their ground and protected our democracy to be passed down to us. And now here we have the same opportunity. Family, we are their legacy. Their blood flows through our veins. We are freedom fighters. We are of the triumphant victors of yesteryear. And even with the challenges that we face today, I know that if we just reach out and say hi to our neighbors, speak highly of our democracy, and invest in the work of building community power so that we can have political power, we will get somewhere, okay? I'm gonna leave you with 3 things because a good organized can is many people in the room and not give you no homework. So I'm gonna give you 3 things to do, okay? I need you to speak highly of our democracy. When you hear misinformation being espoused in your community, correct it. Correct it in real time. I'm not saying fight nobody, but I am saying be okay with being uncomfortable checking someone spreading lies, because that's how our democracy crumbles. Find joy. We have to find joy in these things, folks. This stuff is hard, okay? But we can do hard things with joy. You know why? Because they've done it before. When we would show up for voting rights and get hosed by dogs or beaten by law enforcement, we would fellowship beyond those actions with cornbread and beans to talk about what we were gonna do next. And finally, say hi to your neighbor. It's such a lost art. It really is. You'd be surprised how far saying hi with action can go. Let us draw upon the strength of yesteryear to find hope and unity and move forward with purpose and in power. I can't wait to see you all around the convention. Welcome to Las Vegas. Wear your sunscreen. Protect your melanin. It's our magic. Thank you, folks.
Please welcome the president of the NAACP's Tri-State Conference, Janetta Williams.
Well, good evening. Welcome to the NAACP 115th Annual Convention. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 115th convention here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Our theme, as you know, is All In. I congratulate the host, the NAACP Las Vegas branch, and the president, President Quinton, for this much anticipated convention. We are all here because of our commitment and dedication to civil rights and to this great organization. Leaders, members, and volunteers representing states across the country are here to get energized because we realize that we've got work to do. Our democracy is under attack, and we've got work to do. Our voting rights are under attack. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is under attack. Banning our books are under attack. White supremacy is on the rise, and we've got work to do. I ask, are we all in to make a difference? Yes. Our nation is facing an unprecedented number of attacks, and our very foundation of our democracy is in crisis. The forces of fear, hate, and division are determined to drive the state through the heart and soul of America. But as in years past, we will fight because we've got work to do. We are soldiers in this NAACP, in this army. And when we fight, we win. We've never turned away from a fight because, again, when we fight, we win. The NAACP has always spoken to power, and we never give up. We've got work to do. Let's keep fighting. And again, I welcome you to this 115th annual convention. Are you all in? Yeah, because we've got work to do. Thank you.
Now introducing the Director of Community Partner Programs and Engagement for Airbnb, Janae Ingram.
Good evening, NAACP. So as was mentioned, my name is Janae Ingram. I'm the Director of Community Partner Programs and Engagement with Airbnb. And Airbnb is proud to be all in at the 115th NAACP National Convention. Let me hear you say all in. I know y'all can do better than that.
We have too much to fight for. Let me hear you say all in. Okay, yes. I want to give a big thanks to Chairman Russell, Second Vice Chair Karen Boykin Towns, and President Johnson for your years of partnership. Now, my personal earliest memories of the importance of the NAACP was as a 12-year-old soon-to-be high school student. I got a job through the Camden County East chapter of the NAACP in Jersey. Yes, Siobhan, give all the kudos to my Jersey folks. I know y'all are in here. Okay, yes, Jersey, yes. The late Paul Harris, who started the chapter, was a family friend, and he made sure that I was part of the program. That summer made a profound impact on my life, and quite frankly, is part of how I'm here today. Being here at this convention as a proud member for many, many years, joined by my parents, who I'm gonna ask to stand, my daughter, who is also here, who's about to be 4, apparently just left at the moment that I'm speaking, okay. My colleagues from Airbnb, if you all could please rise in the room. It reminds me of all of the reasons why this organization continues to exist and makes me feel energized for all of the work ahead. Now, many people know Airbnb as a place to book a trip with friends and family, or a unique stay like a treehouse. But our platform is also an engine for economic empowerment. It allows everyday people like you and me to share their homes, earning meaningful extra income while we're building generational wealth. Yes, whoever's clapping, thank you. That's a great thing. Here in the US, the typical host earned $14,000 last year. And that's money that our hosts are using to pay bills, save for retirement, or fund their own vacations, coming here to the NAACP convention. NAACP has been a vital partner in helping us share the economic opportunity with communities of color over the last several years. The organization has also been an important partner in our longstanding work to fight discrimination and build inclusion, including advising us as we develop Project Lighthouse, which is an initiative that helps us uncover and address differences in how people of color may experience our platform. We're using data-driven insights from Lighthouse to help make our platform more equitable. We cannot do this work alone, and we are thankful for your partnership, and we're stronger because of it. This week's gathering is an opportunity for collaboration, sharing ideas, learning amongst our community. Together, we can make, and we will make, progress and create opportunities to help our communities thrive. I'm wishing you all a wonderful convention, and there's my beautiful daughter coming down the aisle as I'm going to sit down. I love you, baby.
Coming to the stage, NAACP board member Claude Cummings.
Good evening, NAACP and Union family. I'm honored to be here today and declare as the first Black president of the Communication Workers of America that CWA and the labor movement is all in. We're all in. All in for protecting the working class. We're all in when it comes to combining the strength of both the labor and civil rights movement. I'd like to take a moment to thank President Derrick Johnson, Chair Leon Russell for inviting me, all my fellow board members for your hard work, and my fellow members of the NAACP Labor Committee. I'd like to also acknowledge NAACP Labor Committee Chair Robin Williams and Vice Chair Ray Curry. Give them a round of applause. I don't have long, so I'm going to get straight to the point. The labor and the civil rights movements are entwined, both fighting for political, social, and economic equality. We cannot have a strong labor movement without attention to civil rights, nor can we have a strong civil rights movement without economic justice. Last year, at the beginning of my presidency of CWA, we were celebrating the 60th anniversary.
of the 1963 March on Washington, which brought back memories of Dr. King's inspiring "I Have a Dream" speech and his promise of a more just and inclusive America. But many forgot that the stated purpose of that march demanded jobs and freedom, economic and social justice. It was Dr. King who reminded us, what does it profit him to be able to eat in an integrated lunchhouse if he doesn't earn enough money to buy a hamburger and a cup of coffee? According to the Economic Policy Institute, union membership means a smaller racial wealth gap. Union membership boosts wages across the board, but the gains are even higher for Black, Latino, and LGBTQ workers. Our collective bargaining agreements protect workers from discriminatory requirements. No longer the last hired, first fired, but workers thanks to a union membership have someone in their corner. Strong, inclusive unions have helped Black workers finally start to catch up after 300 years of a system rigged against us. But listen, it's not a one-way street. I believe that the labor movement is better today because of the contributions and perspectives of Black people, Latino people, Asian people, Indigenous people, LGBTQ plus people, women, and others who have been ignored or excluded in the past. Those perspectives inform the movement because labor and civil rights are two sides of the same coin. Unions help reduce racial resentment among white workers, paving the way for unity, not just around workplace issues, but also around a pro-worker, pro-democracy policy agenda. That's why the people who rely on exploiting our labor for profit have sought to promote hatred and division among us. Our unity is the biggest threat to their greed, and their ability to use the media, including social media, to prey on our fear is the biggest threat to our unity. Project 2025 is the crystallization of more than 40 years of right-wing ideology. All-out attacks on education, banning books, crippling corporate oversight, removing child labor protections, attacks on women's health, and an end to the National Labor Relations Board. This threat isn't just a swing to the right. Don't listen to me closely. It's the final blow to a free and democratic United States of America. It's an end to having a say, any say, in how you govern, where you work, your hours, your pay, your taxes, and how those taxes are spent. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The United States has not faced such a direct threat to its democratic values since fascist march across Europe in World War II, and this threat, unlike before, is calling from inside the house. That's why I'm adamant that we must fight with everything we have, as workers, as parents, as grandparents, as Black people. We must all be in. Listen, every give us a chance to protect our shared future. The Biden administration has stood strong alongside the labor movement. He's the only sitting president to have joined a picket line with striking workers. He has welcomed us into the White House to talk about his senior advisors about issues we are facing on the job. We've advised this administration on how the current government can support the creation of good union jobs and ensure that technology such as our AI, are used responsibly, not to surveil and replace it, but to improve our workplaces. That is what it should be used for. Joe Biden and the people he has appointed see us as partners, not props. They have gotten to know us and we've gotten to know them. When we call them, they answer. Listen is very close. Every generation must answer the call to protect freedom and push back against those who would put profit over people, profit over planet, and profit over plain old common sense. Listen, your time is now. If you're a young person, your time is now. If you're LGBTQ plus, your time is now.
If you're Asian, your time is now. If you're Hispanic, your time is now. If you're a woman, your time is now. And to every black person within the sound of my voice, your time is now. If you're ready to fight, I want to hear you say it. I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm all in. And let's say it together. We're all in. We're all in. We're all in. In the labor movement, we have a slogan: when we fight, we win. When we fight, when we fight, when we fight, how are we gonna win? What's our goal? Let's go. Thank you.
A special welcome to NAACP Youth Board Member Kyra Mitchell.
Good evening, everyone. Nobody told me I had to follow that up, but I am here tonight and I am pleased to represent the Youth and College Division. I know the Youth and College Division is in the house. As you all know by now, our theme is all in. And I am here to say that our generation is definitely all in. After all, the decisions that we are making and the actions that we are taking today will be the world that my generation will have to grow up in and someday raise our children in. We may be young, but we see ourselves as collaborators with all generations. We honor and respect our elders. We value their wisdom, but our goal is to add our new ideas, our fresh energy, and unique perspective to the cause. The real power comes from multi-generational collaboration. We want you to know that we are here and we are ready. The days of being seen and not heard are long gone. It's time for us to learn from each other. If all generations listen and share, we'll all be better for it. Because it's not about competition, it's about collaboration. And it's about turning out the vote. We are happy to bring new strategies for engaging our peers because we're not apathetic and we're not disengaged, unlike people like to say. Our lives and our futures are at stake too. And if anything, we have a greater stake in the elections to make sure that the policies and the decisions made reflect the future that we want to see. We care deeply about the future and understand thoroughly how this election affects everything. So let's work together, side by side, arms interlocked, and let's go all in together. I am reminded of the words of Chairman Emeritus Rosalind Rock today as I stand before you, and say it with me if you know it. Courage will not get this generation. Thank you.
Please give a round of applause for MGM Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Tony Gladney.
Good evening, NAACP. All right. On behalf of our 60,000 plus employees at MGM Resorts International, we welcome you, NAACP, to Mandalay Bay. We want to thank Chairman Leon Russell. We want to thank my sisters in the front. And I see you. Thank you to you. Thank you. Thank you to Michael Turner, my brother from Detroit, who without him, I don't know if MGM Resorts would have launched into urban communities as we launched a property in Detroit with his assistance. We want to thank Derek Johnson, the president of the NAACP. What does this mean to MGM Resorts, you all being here? Well, one, it means that we know that we're in an environment where
there's an attack on DEI. Let me make one thing perfectly clear from all of my colleagues, myself, and our leadership. In the words of NAACP, we will not turn back. In 2001, MGM Resorts took on a diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative. It was the first in the gaming and entertainment industry. It was the first on the Las Vegas Strip. At the time, Kwesi Fumi and Julian Bond were in leadership. We called, and the NAACP sent a designation of dignitaries from the NAACP to help us to put forth a diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative that would help us and that would launch and that would make us stronger and stronger every year to come full circle for all of you being here and right now. So we thank you for your business. We thank you for choosing us. And what this does and what this means today as our continued fulfillment of the business case for diversity, equity, and inclusion. If somebody tells you that we don't impact the bottom line, tell them to come and look in this room and around this hotel and see all these NAACP members and delegates here. So we thank you, and I know that there's other people that need to get up here, but I'm a whole NFL ball player. Some of you all know. My old team lost the Super Bowl to Kansas City for you Kansas City fans. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna leave in the spirit of the chant. And I'm gonna go 5 times before I get off stage. And when I say NAACP, everybody say all in. Are you ready? NAACP. 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 All right, let's let everybody on the Las Vegas Strip hear this last one. NAACP. Have a great
From American Airlines, please welcome Chief Diversity Officer and Vice President of Global People Operations, Cedric Rockmore.
Hello, hello, hello. You know when you got your family in the house, so 2 people started clapping. But that's all right. That's all I need is 2. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge our Chief People Officer for American Airlines, Cole Brown. See, she got her fan in group 2. So what I wanted to do is just talk to you a little bit about what we have going on a little bit. But I wanted to first say that it is a distinct honor for me to be here. The NAACP has been a guiding light in the fight for justice, equality, and opportunity. And I am truly humbled to be here before you representing American Airlines. The NAACP has been instrumental in holding us accountable as we've held ourselves accountable to ensuring, this is a commitment, that every customer has a great experience. See, it's one thing to hold somebody accountable, but it's another thing to be willing to stand alongside them and help them. So we are very, very grateful for that partnership. The NAACP's dedication and advocacy has been essential in helping us understand and address the challenges we face. And again, we're deeply grateful for that. At American Airlines, we're committed to getting better every day. This is an everyday thing. We know that achieving true diversity, equity, and inclusion is an ongoing journey. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And we are steadfast in our efforts to make that progress daily. Folks ask me, well, what do you think about the attacks on DEI? See, we've already made the connection. We know the value proposition to representation. We know the value proposition to equity, and we certainly know the value proposition to inclusion. So we're standing firm, or as we say, we standing on business at American Airlines. I want to extend a special thanks to President Johnson for his open, honest, and direct dialogue. His leadership and NAACP's collaborative spirit has been invaluable in our guiding efforts. We are grateful for this partnership and look forward to continuing our work together to drive meaningful change. Thank you again for your unwavering support and partnerships. Together, we will continue to make strides toward a more equitable future for all. Thank you. And again, I guess we're still all in.
Please stand and warm welcome to National Board Member Kenya Cox.
Good evening. Well, tonight has been a night where we have heard from many voices. They come from different corners across our great nation, and they speak for all kinds of people. Their views were formed by a wide variety of lifestyles and experiences. Now, to me, the best part is when we hear from the uncommon voices. You offering us unique perspectives and views. We must listen. Listen for the rare voices in the crowd, because we need to hear from everyone if we're going to continue the difficult work of building a more perfect union. We must unite. We must find common ground, and to find common ground, we must first listen. After listening, then someone. Someone must stand up, take all views into consideration, and speak for us all. Someone must be that unifying force. And I believe that someone is the chairman of the NAACP National Board of Directors. It is now my honor and my privilege to introduce him. Please stand to your feet, giving honor where honor is due. And welcome Chairman Leon W. Russell to the stage.
You've heard a lot this evening. Most of it you're going to hear again in a minute. But I want you to know, NAACP, we are in Las Vegas. We're here to make a statement, and it's up to you to make that statement. And so, as I think about what I'm about to say, I'm reminded that there are oceans of issues that could be addressed, but I've only got a limit of time in which to address it. So bear with me. God of our weary, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on our way, thou who hast by thy might
led us into the light. Keep us forever in thy path, we pray. I often begin with those words, and I begin with them this evening because in July of 2024, they resonate more clearly than they ever have. As NAACPers from all over the country convene here in Las Vegas for this 115th time as the nation's premier civil rights and social justice advocacy organization, joined by our advocacy partners, government leaders, civic and social organizations, fraternal bodies, and community members. We face a struggle for the survival of the nation as a pluralistic, unified democracy founded on the premise that all of us were created as equals, endowed with certain inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Tonight, all of that, every thought, every word, and all of the promise that we believe the United States should be is on the ballot. The question is not veiled in some vague theoretical document. Elections have consequences. Elections are about choices. In 2024, the choice is clear. Do we continue to work toward that more perfect, diverse, and inclusive union? Or do we go back to a Jim Crow past? Do we let our nation slide back to a time when our society was squarely rooted in separation and otherism? A past that was defined by the haves versus the have-nots. Will we allow profit to prevail over people and the survival of our planet? Or will we throw off the echoes of our past and work to make this nation the bright, shining example of human beings working together, utilizing everything that makes us different to create for all of us that more perfect union? Do we clearly understand and believe that in union there is real freedom? Are we clear that working together, everyone accomplishes more? NAACP, are we a team? Admittedly, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the challenge we face. We are in a war for the very soul of our nation. This evening, NAACP, I ask, are we all in this fight? Are we all in to continue the fight to protect and preserve the gains we have made as a nation? Are we all in this fight to ensure that public policy works for the advancement of each and every one of us? Are we all in this fight to ensure that we go forward together? Are we all in this fight to make sure that all Americans, every part of our community, understands the challenge? Are we all in this fight to ensure that every eligible voter we know, cast an unfettered ballot for a brighter future on November 5th. Are we all in this fight? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Members of the NAACP, and especially to the elected delegates to this 115th annual convention. I want to thank Kenya Cox for that marvelous introduction. Give her a round of applause. I want to extend a truly heartfelt thank you to every active, engaged, and energized member of this association, working in the 2,200 communities across the nation, advocating for civil rights and social justice for all of us. Give yourselves a name. Your work is unsung, but I need you to understand that you are seen and that your work is appreciated. I come to you this evening understanding the gravity of our current situation. I see the challenge, and I know that every person sitting in this room tonight also understands the challenge. The question is whether or not we will engage in this battle for the soul of our nation, or whether we will let the forces of supremacy and greed carry the day. Will hate and bigotry take us back to a time when the road was stony and we trod our path through the blood of the slaughter? Or are we all in to continue to march on until victory is won? Tonight, we must decide that we will engage in an election where the choices are truly clear. Will we vote to deny our own history? Will we allow public policy to be made and enforced that seeks to erase, or at the very least, whitewash that history? That's on the ballot in 2024. And let me be clear. When I talk about the 2024 election, please don't think I'm only speaking to the presidential election. The choice there is stark, and we must engage. However, I need you to understand that the threat, the serious threat, comes at the state and local level. It is state legislatures, school boards, city councils, and county commissions that must be the focal point of our attention, because it is those policymakers who pose the most danger and who are doing the most damage. We must look at judicial races, and we must understand that the people we put into positions where public policy is made and those who implement it require our attention and our scrutiny. Black history, as I said, is being whitewashed or removed altogether from our public school curriculums. Books are being banned, and equal educational opportunity is being questioned. Are we all in to vote? Rights that this association and our allies fought long and hard to secure are being taken away by a court dominated by white nationalist ideology. Courts are elected or appointed by people who are elected.
Are we all in to go to the polls to secure the rights that our predecessors suffered to secure? The Supreme Court deserves our scrutiny this evening more than any other time in the nation's history. This court has rolled back protections for our right to vote. It has stripped away a woman's right to determine her own health care. It is a threat to workers' rights, and it has declared war on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Courts matter. Courts are a direct result of who gets elected to positions that appoint them, and the legislative bodies that approve those appointments. In 2024, we are faced with a Supreme Court that invites challenges to our voting rights, our rights to an environment that is conducive to the survival of our planet, and our right to a government of the people, for the people, by the people. Over and over again, this United States Supreme Court has shown itself to be the protector of the few moneyed people rather than the majority of our nation, whose output actually makes us the magnet for people all over this globe. The threat posed by this Supreme Court is best summed up by two cases handed down in the final days of this year's session. In one case, the court determined that homeless people can be criminalized for sleeping outside in public spaces. This is a return to the days of debtor's prison, where poverty and mental illness are declared to be crimes. On the other hand, this court also handed down a decision that essentially makes one man immune from the criminal law. Our Supreme Court declared that our president can commit any crime, no matter how heinous, so long as he can cloak himself in the mantle of President of the United States. 248 years ago, we declared ourselves free of imperial monarchy. The Roberts Court has taken us right back to that era. The question remains, are you all in to engage in the political process? Yes. Are you all in for the fight to reform this Supreme Court? Think about it. It was only in the middle of the last century that we began to see this court as a true arbiter of moral authority. Prior to that, the Supreme Court gave us Dred Scott and Plessy versus Ferguson. One said, we, those of us in this room and beyond, were not citizens, and that we had no rights that a white man need respect. The other declared separate but equal to be the law of the land. Let me be clear. They just had elections in the United Kingdom, and they understood if you don't do politics, politics will do you. This is a year, 2024, that may at some point be classified in the words of our hymn as one of our weary years. But it doesn't have to be. If we are all in, it does not have to be. If we are all in for the fight for civil rights and social justice, we can defeat hate, and bigotry. If we are all in on the work of this association, we can ensure that every child has an equal opportunity to a free, world-class, rigorous public education. If we are all into this fight, we can protect a woman's right to choose health care that is right for her family and herself. If we are all into this fight, we can ensure that every person has access to outstanding and affordable health care, period. If we are all into this fight, we can protect our environment. We can ensure that public policy actually does the same. If we are all into this fight, up and down the ballot, we can ensure that public policy works for all of us and not just for those with the most money. If we are all into this fight, we can ensure that diversity, equity, and inclusion are the hallmarks of an economy that works for all of us. If we are all into this fight, we can make sure that we have a vote that can be lifted with the rising tide. If we are all in for the fight to motivate every part of our community to be civically engaged all the time, we can have a society where the criminal justice system is not just about us, but about providing justice for all people. If we are all in to this fight, we will ensure that our young people are all in. We will fight to ensure that they have a place at the table and that their voices are heard and included. NAACP, we who believe in freedom cannot rest. I say to you this evening, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and the right to collective bargaining might be on the chopping block if this NAACP, if we as a people are not all in to vote. Not voting is not an option. If you believe in freedom, if we are truly all in, our Black job is to vote in every election, every position on the ballot. This November, I need us to remember that if we fail to vote, there are those who have come up with a plan to take us back to the 19th century. It's called Project 2025. If you believe in the promise of this nation, you and I must commit to being all in to the fight to make sure that plan is never, ever implemented. We do that by being all in to vote. Our job is to vote and to fight to ensure that everyone we know votes. We are at war for the soul and the survival of our nation. The NAACP is all in on this fight. As I prepare to step away from this podium tonight, I want to remind you that this NAACP Hazel has a charge to keep. This evening, we have work to do that will truly glorify the God we serve. I know, Gina, that we ain't no ways tired. We've come too far.
from where we started from. Nobody told us that the work would be easy. But God didn't bring us this far just to leave us. So our charge tonight in NAACP is to be all in. All in with hope. All in. NAACP, are you all in? Peace and power. Before I leave the stage, I need to remind you that this association is looking for 300,000 volunteers to engage and work in our civic engagement program, to talk to people across the country about why it's necessary for them to vote. If you're really all in, if you're not just gaslighting, when you talk to somebody, when you sign up to be a volunteer in this effort, if you're all in, you will volunteer. You will be part of this army holding up the bloodstained banner. If you're all in, volunteer.
When it comes to black issues, we have to stand for justice. It's an election. Democracy is on the line, and our black jobs are on the line. It's time to take our fight to the ballot box. Our vote powers black futures, our liberation, our economic security, our health. Are you in? Join the fight for black futures this fall. Text volunteer to 20707 to sign up to volunteer with the NAACP. Coming to the stage, Special Assistant to the NAACP General Counsel, Lanita Ross.
Good evening, NAACP. I am Lanita Ross, Special Assistant to the General Counsel, and I will be reading the 115th NAACP National Convention Credentials Report as of Sunday, July 14, 2024. Region 1, adult delegates, 188. Alternates, 35. Total, 223. Youth delegates, 32. Alternates, 16. Total, 48. Count by region, 272. Region 2 adult delegates, 275. Alternates, 49. Total, 324. Region 2U, delegates 43. Alternates 4. Total, 47. Count by region, 371. Region 3 adult delegates, 221. Alternates 29. Total, 250. Region 3 youth delegates, 35. Alternates 12. Total, 47. Count by region, 297. Region 4 adult delegates, 50. Alternates 9. Total, 59. Region 4 youth delegates, 9. Alternates 2. Total, 11. Count by region, 72. Region 5 adult delegates, 290. Alternates 30. total 320. Youth delegates 50, alternates 11, total 61. Count by region 382. Region 6, the adult delegates 124, alternates 9, total 133. Region 6 youth delegates 7, 0 alternates, total 7. Count by region 140. Region 7 adult delegates 106, 2 alternates, total 108. Region 7 youth delegates 11, alternates 2, total 13. Count by region 122. The grand total was 1,656. This concludes my report.
And now is the Vice Chair of the Convention Planning Committee and a member of the NAACP National Board of Directors, Dr. Hazel D.
Good evening. This is what you asked the Board of Directors several years ago to do, and they honored your request. At this convention, you, the delegates, have the opportunity to elect a person to represent you on the Board of Directors. But there are qualifications that you must know about. The NAACP Constitution, Article 5, Section 3, any member in good standing of the association shall be eligible to be elected and to serve on the National Board of Directors, except a member who is, at the time of the election, is an employee of the association during the 2 years prior to the date nominations are made. A member in good standing is one who has been a bona fide member at large or member of a branch or other units of the association for at least 30 days prior to the date of the nomination. Will all the members who've been elected to serve on this board come to the front of the podium, please? All members of the election supervisory committee. It is important that you see these persons because there's another qualification. Ms. Sweetlow, will you go out front? Mrs. Gloria Sweetlow, a member of the National Board of Directors, president of the Tennessee State Conference, is our timekeeper. So listen up. Consent forms may be turned in into the election supervisory committee at the podium before the plenary session of the convention on Monday, July 15, 2024, to be considered by the committee. All consent forms must be permitted
to members of this committee no later than 9:30 a.m. on Monday, July the 15th, 2024. These men and women will be standing here beginning at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Set your watch or your clock to Las Vegas time, not to Kansas City time. 9:30, 9:30, not 9:31 or 9:32. It means 9:30, the time. If you are busy in your region, you must ask to be permitted and come to this stout of holy where they are standing. Voting will commence on Tuesday, July 16th, starting at 3 p.m. and will be closed at 6 p.m. that same day. Now, some of you, and I don't say a word, but listen. This election will be conducted using the election buddy system. Delegates in attendance will receive their ballots electronically at 3 p.m. You all in? At 3 p.m. All voting delegates to the convention are eligible if they are registered in attendance at the convention. If there are only 2 candidates with a simple majority of the delegates voting, 50% plus 1 will be determined as the winner. If there are more than 2 candidates and no candidate gets a simple majority of the delegates voting, 50% plus 1, a runoff election of the top 2 candidates will be held, and the winner determined by a simple majority as defined above. If there is a need for a runoff election, it will be held on Wednesday, July 17, 2024, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Mr. Bragg, will you take these forms, please? And those persons who are desired to run as a candidate, you will now come and get your forms. Please read in English what you are to do. Sign your name, persons nominating, and seconding your nomination. Persons who will be nominating you and your second must be qualified as the candidate. All in? See you before 9:30 a.m. Las Vegas time tomorrow, which is Monday. Thank you very much.
Please note, the New York State Conference is asked to meet at 9:30 p.m. this evening in room 56001 in Medley Bay. Again, the New York State Conference is asked to meet at 9:30 this evening in room 56001 in the Medley Bay. Now, please welcome the Reverend Dr. Donald G. from the Renaissance Fellowship.
Never would have been, never could have been without you. I would have lost.
Okay. I'm stronger, I'm wiser, I'm better. And the church said amen. Amen. Shall we stand? Shall we?
Good morning.